Years' work's been about on Hearing Aid. Ronnie, how difficult has the whole project been to get together?
Well, not difficult from a standpoint of doing it as a producer, as a musician. That's what we do, so that should not be difficult. The difficulties were in blackmailing, hammering, beating people over the head, doing all those things to get them to contribute for the LP. It was not really so much of a problem getting them to be single artists on the single itself. The hard part was what Jimmy and Vivian had to go through. And that was to do just what I said, to blackmail, etc., to get them to give us what we needed to make this an important project. Without important people, it just wouldn't sell. And the point is to make a lot of money to feed a lot of hungry people.
When you came to ask for album tracks?
Yes. On the whole, yes, except for us and a couple of bands that were very into the project and wrote songs especially for the album and stuff like that. That's great. Fortunately for them, they didn't have the same pressure of work as we had, so we had to fit what we had to contribute in a sort of fine time schedule.
You were actually recording your third album, weren't you, when this was coming together?
That was all done when we were in the writing stage, and we're writing the songs for the album and recording. Yeah, some people did sort of go a little off it after a while. Yeah, they did go a little off it. But we had to, like Ronnie says, bang a few heads and shake them up a little bit. So, you know, well, you did say you were going to give it to us, so you might have been drunk, but we want.
You're more involved with the Hearing Aid project as a member of Dio than previously as a member of Driver.
Well, actually, when I did the Hearing Aid project, I was in Jafria.
That's before Driver.
That was before Driver.
It is a while ago, yes.
You know, I did a little bit of. I'm a king of the hopscotch in music, you know. But anyways, I feel closer to it. Not maybe more involved, but closer, because I've been a fan of Ronnie's since he first joined Rainbow, and I listen to him all the time. Constantly. In fact, when friends would come over to have a bit of a chat or something, or a party or something at my house, they'd look through my record collection and they go, Rainbow, 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 Deep Purple, Deep Purple.
So was it Ronnie himself who approached you to play on the Stars single?
I used to be in a band called Rough Cut that he produced
some demos, didn't he?
And that's when he first heard. Actually, when he first heard me play guitar, I was in San Diego, and I did a demo tape with a band called Vengeance. It was right when Jake left Rough Cut to join ours.
That's Jake Lee, yeah.
And so they were looking for the right guy to replace Jake with. So they heard a tape, and through some friends of mine, brought it to the guys in Rough Cut, who then brought it to Ronnie, and he said, "This is the guy," you know. And we did a few demos together, and I was real distressed at a point in my life. And I turned to Ronnie and said, "I wish I could just join your band." And it was 2 years ago. And he turned around and he said, "Well, if Vivian ever didn't work out, you would be my choice."
It's interesting.
2 years later, here it is.
And you're in the band.
Thank you.
2 postponements earlier in the year. Why were they postponed?
Well, normally, if you do Australia, you've done Japan as well. If you do Japan, you do Australia.
So
we had canceled twice in Japan with promoter problems, and that also meant that we had to
just
cancel
make it too expensive to come all this way without that link to step off. Okay, here's the album that is selling very well at the moment, your current album, and just looking at the clip, looking at the album, very big stage show. What can we expect here in Australia?
Well, unfortunately, we were unable due to monetary matters to bring it here. I mean, it's incredibly expensive to bring it anywhere. That's the
dragon that's on the cover.
Yes, it's not only the dragon. He's not really such a problem. He travels well. He gets a bit airsick sometimes, but he travels pretty well. It's all the other things that go along with it. It's such a massive set. It's a Gothic castle, really.